I've been using this as a contour stick rather than a concealer stick because, as I've mentioned many times before, I've been very upset about the Benefit Hoola Quickie contour stick being discontinued, so I've been on the hunt for a replacement. Originally, I was given this shade as a potential alternative. However, I did find it a little bit too orange for my skin tone, even though this one may look the closest to the aforementioned Hoola stick. So I'll just show you first the difference. This is shade 50 Warm Orange. I'll just put a tiny bit on because that's all you need, especially on my skin tone. You can see how that looks. And then we switched it out for 50 NN, which is neutral, which actually to me looks lighter, but they are the same shade, they're just different undertones. So you can see there the difference. So this is obviously a lot closer to kind of a natural contour shade for me, because for the rest of my face and in my concealer, I tend to wear a cooler undertone color. My favorite thing about this product is probably the format. I love the concept. I love the little doe applicator, and best of all, I love the brush. I find myself using this all the time. It lives in my handbag, and even if I'm not using it for this particular product, say my foundation has started to move around in the day, this is the best thing to go for, to just like get back in there and smooth everything out. I love that no matter how much you use it, the brush doesn't seem to get caked in makeup product at all. It stays relatively clean, which means you don't have to be super precious about like what you're getting on there. Whether I'm using it for foundation, which is a different shade, or for this, I can cross over quite easily because it doesn't pick up and carry pigment. It just pops it straight on your skin and remains nice and clean. I enjoyed the format of it so much that I did go ahead and purchase the concealer for myself, which I've been using. I'm really enjoying.
This is a really great concealer. The coverage is really good. I like a high coverage concealer. This is a high coverage concealer, but it's quite light. So it doesn't feel really heavy on your skin, but it still covers everything. I like the brush, which I didn't think I would. It's just a good one when you're going out, put this in your bag, and then you could just like dab. And most brushes I get with products I don't really like, so that's a good thing. I tried it as a foundation and I prefer it as a concealer, but I didn't mind it. It was quite a nice medium coverage. It didn't feel heavy in my skin. I use probably heavier concealers than this under my eye, and sometimes they do like go into your lines. I didn't find it really did with this one, probably because it's high coverage, but the formula is quite thin. I found it just sat quite nicely under my eyes. I do set it with some translucent powder, but I do with everything. It doesn't go really weird once I put powder on top. I took it with me whenever I went out for like an evening, just to touch up if I needed it. But in the daytime, I found that it lasts through the day. I usually put it on in the morning and my under eye still looks the same as it would with any other concealer that I like. At the end of the day, in the evening, I just took it out. Like if my foundation had rubbed off, I'd use this and it would just fix it.
I've only used this on a couple of occasions. The main reason I picked this in the first place was to basically highlight some of the dark circles, or get rid of, I should say, some of the dark circles under my eyes. So I've used this for a couple of nights out. There's been some of my friends who've had 30th birthday, so I've used this on a few weekends. And I've definitely noticed in photographs post the night out that there's been a huge difference. So I would definitely recommend this to any men that want to try using a concealer. I think for me, the main thing that I noticed was originally I picked the wrong shade. I was speaking to Eleni and she was like, I think you should be this shade. But I actually picked a shade that was too light for me, so that when I put it on underneath my eyes, you could tell that it was concealer for a start, but also I looked really like washed out and pale. So I think making sure that you test the shade beforehand is key, especially as a male. You don't want it to look like you're wearing makeup. I actually have used the brush. You can't really tell, to be honest. Even after using it, it looks pretty clean. But I did use the brush and it's a really, really easy application. Literally just use this under my eyes to apply, and then using the brush then just to blend it in. That's one of the main reasons that I wanted to try it, is because it's such an easy application. So as a male that doesn't really use makeup, it's an all-in-one product basically for me. So that's why I think it's definitely going to be staying in my routine.